Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with a mixed media frenzy. And today I expect that there will be, let me move that closer, let me see if that improves the view. Sure. Today I expect it to be something of a frenzy because I have no idea what I'm doing. I've never done this before, and I am working with a very special couple pieces of paper, and I just pray that I don't mess them up. So let's start. This is the layout that we're lifting. It on the surface it seems fairly simple, a few streaks of paint or ink or whatever medium to make the stripes that kind of give you the idea of ocean waves or whatever. Lovely photo that has the blues in it that are in the background. Just three florals, not even particularly exotic clusters around them, a map and a geotag symbol, and circle and a heart. So not a particularly detailed or busy layout, I'll say. I was looking for my supplies, had every intention of doing something like that with paint or ink on a white background, and I was looking for the right size and color hibiscus. And when searching through my tropical seaside, ocean-going kind of things, I decided on the photo, which is this one of my husband and me getting ready to take off on one of our daily sails back in the day when we were lucky enough to live at a marina, in a marina condo, and were able to lease a sailboat from a place just right next door. So it was a quick walk down there, and every day when I worked nearby, John worked pretty far away. So as soon as he got there, I had everything ready and we'd go out on the boat. It was wonderful. We'd been married just about 10 years. In fact, I've scrapped another photo from a few months later when we were celebrating our 10th anniversary out on the lake. We lived on Clear Lake, which was built for the NASA complex, but it leads out into Galveston Bay where there's just beautiful sailing. Anyway, so that's my photo and that's my journaling, and I'll probably add a little bit to that later. In the course of searching for those things, I came across this paper. It's absolutely gorgeous. I bought it. We go down to Pensacola, to Margaritaville in Pensacola, and just down the road in Foley, Alabama, there is a store called Gigi's. And Gigi's has lots of wonderful seaside and ocean and sailing kinds of papers, things that I don't see anywhere else. So I treasure those trips, and I look forward to the time when everything's opened up again so that we can make one of those trips. But this is a 49 and Market paper from a line called Island Paradise, and it's called Colada Heaven. And I love both sides of it. I love these 6x6 pages. So I bought 2 sheets of it, and I've cut one of them apart. I'm even going to use the branding strip, because on the branding strip there's a wonderful quote: "Our memories of the ocean will linger on long after our footprints in the sand are gone." So I like that. And I'm also, when I looked at this and started finding, also from 49 Market and also from Gigi's, I found these like kind of water bubbles that I thought might be nice. And I was looking for something to make the stripes with. I found this shaded lilac Distress Oxide, and I'm going to kind of combine that with some Lilac Waterfall Nouveau Shimmer Powder, and I've never used this on a layout yet. This came in a Secret Not Secret kit from Christina Sorge, and I can't wait to show her how I use it unless I mess up this incredible sheet of paper. So I'm gonna maybe also add some of my own water droplet looking things with glossy accents. I'm gonna sprinkle with some Delusions white ink. I'm going to use some Nouveau Crystal drops, and because there's a map element and I didn't really want to just use a piece of map paper there, I found a piece of purple map paper and cut a camera and a sailboat using these dies respectively. I think this one is an Amy Tangerine. That type of camera strikes me as an Amy Tangerine. This is from a die set that I got that's kind of a scene, a seaside scene, and I got that at Gigi's, but I cannot tell you the make of it, and I apologize for that. This is, I also cut twice this floral, and I used the die as a stencil to go back and kind of color in the flowers. When I took it out, it didn't really look much like a floral there. You really couldn't tell what it was. So I used a white pen and kind of did that over the map, and I cut it out of I don't have it with me here. It's a scrap of the Bloom Street collection from Paige Evans to get this purple with the little blue flowers in it. And I just kind of cut that out and overlaid it, and then I pasted the whole thing on the back of this this paper. So those are going to be the bases of my embellishment clusters. I have a set of stickers. Let me put that over there. A set of stickers that are glittery, and I'm not quite sure I'll use any of them, but I thought they were cute, and if they seem to work in, I'll pull some of the purple ones. And in case you can't tell, I'm kind of going for a monochromatic look with purple and lavender, and I'm going to enter it in the monochromatic challenge at Paige Evans' Happy Scrappy Place. Today's the last day to get any of the challenges done for her International Scrapbooking Day event. So I'll do this one. Now this paper is absolutely the thickest, most incredible cardstock I've ever used. So I'm hoping it stands up to a little bit of wetness. Okay, my idea is to use the shimmer powder, and I need to get a trash can handy to knock off any excess. But I thought I'd take a sponge that I have been using for, well, let's see if I can do a clean one, a cleaner one. This one actually has a little bit of a blue color on it, and that's not going to bother me as I do this. My idea is to do streaks across, not stopping before I interfere with the pretty pineapple on here, and have streaks across that I wet with water. I'll wet my sponge with water, and then I'm going to maybe blot it a bit, and if it doesn't just kind of do that, and then sprinkle my shimmer powder on it to see what kind of, and I think I may not have wet it enough, and let me kind of do this. What I'm expecting is that it'll be kind of a shiny, watery sort of look. And I'm going to really take a chance here, and given that, I'm actually going to spritz it with some water. And that's not going to completely wet all of the powder there, so I will kind of tap some of that off. Okay, that's interesting. I like it. Let me try again with the wet sponge and see if I can do maybe a lighter, that's not it. This spray is a little bit more, it's a heavier, when you press on it to spray it out. Okay, let me see how that one works. Okay, that's interesting. This one, you know, is, and there were alternating, in the original there were alternating ones, so let me maybe do some of the powder down here and spray that. I'll do a little bit kind of like that, and then I'll spray it out, spread it out with this this paintbrush, and I'm gonna try this just to get it a little bit. So what's happening is, because of the nature of the product and the nature of my very inconsistent application method, I'm getting a different look. And that's okay. I'm just gonna do 4 instead of 5 because I don't really want to go down and cover up this quote down here. I'm gonna kind of use my paintbrush to tap more of that on where I can see that it's damp. And I like this look. It actually looks like kind of spraying a spray of water. So that's water-based. I'm not going to worry about washing my paintbrush. This is really just a shimmery watercolor powder. And I've used shimmer powders before. I love, what is it? Color Burst by, losing Color Burst is. I went to one of his classes. Anyway, I love Color Burst, and I have bought a set of brushos, which are supposed to be the same thing, although I will admit that I haven't tried them. Let me kind of put that off to the side. And now I'm going to use that, this thing I used in the water to ink the edges of my photo. Again, keeping with the monochromatic purpley sort of theme here. I've got, this is Wilted Violet Distress Oxide, and it's probably this particular purple is probably my favorite color in the world, and I'm excited to be using it on a layout. Okay, the mixed media part, I think, is done. It's the paper's buckling a little bit, but I can work with that. I want to put the photo on foam for a couple reasons. One is I like the dimension it adds, but in this case, maybe gluing it onto, well, I probably will dry fit at first, and then figure out what to do from there. I'm actually, now I want to choose the paper that's going to kind of stick up above it there. And I've got these choices. This is also lavender, but kind of pinkish. And I don't know that I want to add that pink color to the mix. This is the safe choice because it's it's a white wood grain, and that I think would look really nice on that lavender background. This is also kind of lavenderish, but it picks up a lot of the blues. And what I especially like about it, and might want to use, is the little turtle. I have a thing for turtles, and what I would do in that case, if I use this, and that's where I'm kind of leading. I also have the, on this side, if I don't like this netting look. Now, would the netting look good? The netting would really kind of stick with the nautical theme, and it would look great. It does seem to go in there. But then I lose my little turtle. Well, I could use both. I could use the netting up at the top and the turtle down there. Let me do that. I'm gonna do something like this. I'm going to cut the paper that way and that way, kind of just above the bubbles and on the other side of this coral reef looking thing. So let me do that, and that should allow me to place the photo there. And this will kind of be, I'll do this, and then I'll have this, and let me cut this down to about 4 by 4. And I'll have it showing up at the top. Okay. That will be my cluster. And I'm stopping short of inking the edges with the purple. There will be purple showing behind anyway. And I did it on the photo because the photo is black and white, so that kind of gives it that purpley look. Okay, so this may go right here. Now, let me do some thinking here. I want my title is going to be Adventure Please. And the reason for the please is that today's load prompt is based on the song Please Please Me by the Beatles. And I want to use the word please in here. I make a reference to how John got into sailing originally just to please me because it was something I had always wanted to do, and then it turned out he loved it as much as I did, and we had lots of fun. He'd always gotten seasick and was a little unnerved by the idea of taking off, particularly when we began to take off on our own under our own steam there. So I have this holographic silver word adventure from, let's see, what is that thicker set? And just because it's in the package doesn't mean that's what it was. It probably is. It says Grayson. It's a baby boy kind of line of thickers. And I bought it at a discount place many years ago, I think. So it's probably not available out there. So I'm going to do it kind of this way on top of this more rough looking version of the stripe. And things are kind of buckling up a little bit, but I know from experience that that will change. I will glue that down better later off camera. So I'm going to put some more foam behind this photo cluster, again to give it more distance from the dampness. And I'll probably lay it down just to get the, to be sure I get the placement right for putting in my other clusters. I've got this camera that I think I might place right there, and then see if there's anything else I want to add around it. I'm going to use some liquid glue because there's not anything. Let me actually do it this way so there's some dimension there. Let me see if there's anything in this. Oh, I like this. I like this. I don't think there are any seahorses in Galveston Bay, but you know, you can always imagine anything anywhere. These days we have to use our imaginations to remember, you know, real life. Okay, I like that. This is not sticking, and that's probably okay. I'm going to add this, and I'll add let me get the glue on here and get that, at least this down. It's picking up some of the powder that didn't shake off, and that powder will eventually harden and it won't come off of the page, but it does adhere at the moment until it gets to that stage. It adheres to any adhesive that you put on top of it. So I usually use this product use these types of products very differently. But I thought I'd try it this way, and I may not ever do this precise technique again, but it was worth a shot. And I like sharing new mixed media adventures with this in these videos for Mixed Media Frenzy, because I in my mind that's kind of what it's about, is kind of showing that you don't have to be afraid. That's a star that came off this this sticker sheet, and I'm going to sprinkle a few of those around because I wanted to use it. Its adhesive wasn't going to be good for much longer. I'm going to kind of slide this in here, and I'm not going to glue it down. It's just going to kind of slip in here. And that will also help me see where the my clusters are going to go. I have this little sailboat here that I thought I might do right there. I'm going to get a glue dot. What I'll do when I'm done off camera, I'll use my heat gun to dry it from the back side, and that should, I've put these on the wrong side of the sail, of course, and now I've got the shimmer powder on my fingers. So let me put a little bit of this here. Actually, I don't want to cover that up, and I'm going to go back if I can and put one on that side I had it on originally, because I'm going to set it underneath that piece of paper to kind of support it up a bit. Painful, I'm sure, for you to watch this, my pop dot process. Let me get this lifted up. And I'll kind of, and I brought it with me. And that's because I had the wet glue underneath it, and I forgot about that. Okay, so we'll try it this way. Okay, that works. And is there something I can use down there? It needs to be either purple or white. And I've got this kind of white seashell that could be propped up there. What I really like and would love to use is I broke, cut off an arm. This is from a Doodlebug collection. I can repair that. Let me do that, and I'll put a little bit of glue here and get this back in the right place. Okay, no harm, no foul. I like it there. What I'm not going to use is this. I love flowers, and those are pretty colors, but I really don't think it belongs here. So I have this that's a cut that it's a trim from something I did last week, and it's from a kind of a net-like thing. I thought it might be a nice just layer, just kind of a tuck-in layer here. I have to remember I have to put the rest of my title on, but I think there's going to be room right there. So I'm going to do it, you know, my black foam is showing here. So instead of outside the netting area there, I'm actually going to kind of slide it under the photo. I used my double-sided adhesive. Okay, that works, and it kind of hides the fact that I put my foam on, or put the photo on the foam or the foam on the photo without checking to see if any of it showed. I've got this quote that I thought I might put up here, and I want to put it on let me actually, I am going to ink it, but I'm going to ink it with the shaded lilac. And then I'm going to put it on foam to prop it up. And do I want it, see, I've got this quote, let me make sure you can see that. I've got this quote down at the bottom, so I thought I'd put this one more at the top. Although I kind of like the idea of having something there. So we'll see what I end up with later. Okay. And I've got all these small embellishments to do. Let's see, that's about the right length, and I'll try to make it small enough that it doesn't show. Cut the tip off of it, and I'm going to use this adhesive rather than liquid that would allow it to move around. And that sometimes does what it's doing now, which is kind of curls it up. And that's okay, because it'll flatten down once it's adhered. And I'll kind of sit it under that. Okay, let's do the rest of the title. I've got another tiny little glittery purple shell that I kind of want to put maybe here. I'll let it overlap there. And I've got glitter here. I don't have enough E's in this alpha set, but I'm going to use 3s. Let's get my L here. And this is actually looking like it's kind of part of the glitter that's going on there. I like that. Where's my A? And I think this alpha set is a tidy swap, but I haven't had it in its package for months. So I apologize that I can't tell you what it is. And when I have things that are out of the packaging, it's either because I waited a really long time, I was in the middle of something like Calvin Ball or something that we're kind of tossing things all over the place, and then put everything up in one fell swoop. Or it's because I used the packaging for a die cut or something. So I think we're done. I have the, I don't, these are kind of childlike embellishments from Doodlebug, as most of their kit are. So I think now I'm really ready for, I like them, I don't mind them at all. I think it does read monochromatic, and that should even be the case as I add these water bubbles in that perfect lavender color. And I'm going to use some tinier bits kind of as part of a, let me use mine. These are little tiny bubbles, and I'll kind of add them near other embellishment elements, like the star and each of the large bubbles. And then I'll go back in and add the Nuvo drops and the glossy accents as part of trios of elements there. So I'll show you what I mean in a minute. First thing I want to do is I'm going to use something to cover this. And I want to add the white ink I want to be sure I get quite a lot on the glittery stuff here. Okay, I'm good with that. Now let's move that off. And I'll go add, I don't need anything in that triangle there. There's a star, a little dot, and a large dot. But I'm going to put one here. Let me test that on some paper. I saw it kind of bubble a bit. I want to make sure it comes out. And this is going to be a darker purple than we have anywhere on here. And that's okay. And it has the little kind of Hershey's Kisses tail up at the top, and I'm okay with that. I don't know why people spend so much time trying not to have those. I know how not to do that, I think, but it always settles in enough for me. And I like it. I think people are trying to get it to look exactly like enamel dots, and to have that perfect rounded top. And that doesn't necessarily matter to me. Okay, now I'm going to, in completely different places, add some dots, rather larger dots. Okay, if I can get any coming out. That doesn't seem to be happening at the moment. I just used this a few minutes ago, and it was fun. I usually use things and test them before I film. And just to make sure they're free-flowing. And I did that with the glossy accents because it's notorious for kind of clogging up. Okay, there we go. Now, like I said, I'm going to do rather larger drops. And I'll do one over here where I haven't done any embellishing. And then maybe one right over here, kind of to draw your eye to the design in the paper. So I think that's all I'm going to do. I'll have lots of drawing for it to get on with, but I'm very happy with it. I think it reads as monochromatic. I used the cover on the wrong bottle, and I of course love all the images, and I like that the sailboat is made out of a map, and so is the camera. So that's my homage to the map element, and I think I'm going to call it done. I'm hoping you can see the whole layout. There it is in the center of the frame, and I must have just touched something. Okay, in any case, let's call it quits if I can find my remote.